Why don't we start over here? Give me your name so that I know who we're introducing to the audience.
My name is Jason Kading, and I am the lead mentor for Bridgman Beetronics.
Okay. Could you spell your last name for me, please?
Kaeding.
Okay. Jason Kading, and you're the lead mentor.
Yes, sir.
I love the name Beebotics, by the way. Who came up with that?
Well, it was kind of all of it. We talked and, well, we're the Bridgman Bees, so
Yeah.
it's robotics, so we wanted to include both
Makes
bees
sense.
and bots. So
Yeah.
kind of
Perfect.
robotics was just
Yeah.
made.
That makes sense. Yeah, straightforward. Beebotics. Yeah, the bees, the robotics. Give me your name and the spelling of your last name, please.
I am Kyle Kading.
Okay. So Kaeding.
Yeah.
Okay. Any relation to the mentor over here?
Yeah, he's my dad.
Okay. All right. What's your role on the team?
I am team captain so I drive the robot at competitions.
Oh, cool.
But I've also done a lot of stuff in like build, design, programming, and electrical.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get into all of that stuff and how you got into that, and I'm already impressed. Your name. It's Levi.
Levi Thomas.
Thomas, and Levi is Levi.
Yep.
Okay. And what's your role on the team?
Lead technician.
Lead technician. Okay. Okay. Great. We're going to have a good conversation, and I'm just going to ask you a little bit about who you are, your backgrounds, what got you interested in it, and everything else, what we can expect with Reefscape. I saw the video. It involves water, right? You got to do stuff underwater.
Well, there's no actual water, but
no actual water. Oh man! All right.
I know.
No, that's good. I think that's a safety issue, right? We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in just a moment. I got to get back on the air here. It's the WSJM Morning Show. That's a look at some of the news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom this morning. We have more to talk about, and in fact, we're going to start an interview right now with some individuals from Bridgman. They're the Beebotics team, the Beebotics Robotics team. They're going to be competing in FIRST Robotics. That competition is coming up in March in St. Joseph and in Berrien Springs. But first, it's part of our Robotics Roundtable that's brought to you by Cook Nuclear Power Plant and Lake Michigan College. And we're pleased to bring you some interesting insights, we think, about what's happening with robotics. And so let's do a quick roundtable introduction just so people can see or hear who's in the room. And then we'll get to sports here on the radio, and then we'll continue our interview on the video live stream. So why don't we start here on my left? Yeah, just give me your name and your grade and your role with Beebotics.
My name is Kyle Kading. I'm a junior.
Okay.
And I'm the team captain, so I get to drive the robot, but I've also done a little bit of coding, wiring, build and design.
Did you have to compete for team captain? Was it a vote?
I'm the only veteran kid on the team, and I was one of the main reasons why the team was started.
I like that. Okay, we'll look forward to learning more about that. Next.
I'm Levi Thomas, and I'm lead technician.
Okay, and what's your role in that? Yeah.
I'm in freshman.
Okay.
And my role is pretty much making sure the robot is able to drive.
Okay. So does that have to do with like the transmission and wheels turning and stuff like that?
Well, if Kyle breaks it, I have to fix it pretty much.
I love it. How often does he break it?
I don't know. Not yet.
Can't count that many times.
I don't break it as much as they all say.
Okay. All right. And then over here off camera, but still on the microphone, your name and role, please. You don't have to say what grade you're in.
Oh, that's good. I'm Jason Kading.
Here, can you pull the microphone? Yeah, just be up on the microphone there. Okay.
I'm Jason Kading, and I am lead mentor.
Okay. My apologies. I've got a microphone issue over there, but we'll get you introduced here in just a moment. So we'll continue this interview on our video live stream in just a moment. We've got local sports with Dave Wolf, but we're going to continue our Robotics Roundtable right now on the WSJM live stream. While I'm doing this, while I'm resetting the microphone over here, why don't we start with our team captain? Kyle, you said that you are a veteran at this and that you're the only veteran on the team. Tell us a little bit more about your background and your experience. Where have you done robotics before?
So for the last 2 years, I've been I was on another team that was like 3 towns away. And
Which team? Which town?
the Robotarians at Coloma.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good. How was that? Did they do well in FIRST Robotics?
Yeah, I was their driver both years,
Okay.
and last year they went to Worlds.
Worlds.
Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So were you part of that team
yeah, I was their driver.
for the Worlds?
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and where was that held?
It was held in Houston, Texas, and as you probably would expect, it was nerve-wracking, but
Yeah.
we ended up doing pretty good. We were 16th
16th in the world.
in our field,
Okay.
and there were 8 fields in Worlds.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, I think I got it. Jason, can you give me a level check over there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, you got a radio voice. Listen to that. Okay. I want to continue on this question, though. So you went to Worlds last year, and for those who don't know what FIRST Robotics is, what is FIRST Robotics? Explain it to somebody who's never been to a competition.
FIRST Robotics is a competition for high schoolers across the world. So,
Yeah.
like in Europe and Americas. And each year in January, you're given a game, and many countless hours go into studying the game and
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to like do the game and try and do the best you can.
Yeah, and so the game this year, it's called Reefscape.
Yeah.
What is Reefscape? What is the challenge this year?
So this year we have to score coral and algae. So algae is like a 16-inch diameter green ball,
Okay.
and coral is a 4.5 diameter PVC pipe.
Oh, okay.
And we have to place the coral onto this series of like on the reef, which is like a series of pegs that you have to place on. And there's level 1, which is just like a trough.
Yeah.
L2, L3, which are in the middle, just like
Yeah.
slightly at an angle. There.
Probably more difficult to be putting
Yeah.
that on. Okay.
And then there's L4, which is the high one you score the most off of, and it's straight vertical.
Now, I don't know how much and this is my first time interviewing robotics teams, so I don't know how much you want to give away about how you're preparing, but I'm going to start asking questions. Anything that you don't want to answer that you think will give away a competitive advantage, say, Ken, that's going to give away a competitive advantage, and just don't tell me, okay? Because, millions and millions of people, I'm sure, are watching this broadcast right now. No, I'm just kidding. All right, well, we'll bring this back to the radio, and I'll be right back and ask more questions in just a moment, right here on WSJM.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
Okay. I think I've figured out my microphone issue, Jason, so I think we're good to go.
Perfect.
Sorry about that. All right, it's 7:19. It's the WSJM Morning Show. For those of you who have been watching on the video live stream, we've just begun our interview. It's Robotics Roundtable. It's brought to you by Lake Michigan College and Cook Nuclear Power Plant. And we're talking about the FIRST Robotics Challenge. It's called Reefscape this year. That's the game that they're going to be playing. And team captain Kyle Kading was just giving us some background, his background in FIRST Robotics, and some of the things that have to go into the challenge. It's all water themed this year. Is there any sonar or lidar? Probably lidar that's involved in the competition this year.
Well, you can use like a sensor. It's a distance sensor that you can get for free this year.
Okay. It comes in the main kit, the sensor.
Well, they give you a code, you can go.
Okay.
But
all right. And Kyle Kyle Kading is the team captain. Levi Thomas is the lead technician, and they're part of the Robotics team. So it's in Bridgman. And so Levi is a freshman. So again, introduce your background. When did you get involved in FIRST Robotics? Tell us if you would.
This is my first year. I pretty much learned the basis from my dad.
Yeah.
Because he taught me a lot of the random things like IT people do around like his job.
Okay.
He just brought me into this world.
So he's in IT. So I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I was taking apart toasters and shocking myself. I mean, what do you do for fun at home?
I usually design and 3D print some stuff.
Okay. So a little more advanced than taking apart toasters.
Yeah.
What do you so what kind of 3D printing do you do?
I pretty much prototype stuff, like just for fun.
Okay. Is any of that, are you applying any of that in the FIRST Robotics Challenge? Are you allowed to do that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What kind of stuff?
Like end caps to make it the robot more safe and stuff like that.
Like that. Okay. So you got into FIRST Robotics. This is your first year. When did you start getting involved? Like a month ago, 6 months ago?
When they started the club up, because it was the first year I was like bored at home, so I decided to come in and have fun.
That's awesome. And so you have the role of lead technician. So maybe you can describe for people who don't know, what is that role? What are you responsible for?
I'm responsible for making sure the robot is able to run at the competitions, like make sure everything works on the robot.
And how do you have a checklist of what you go through and how you first check it to make sure it's operating and then troubleshoot if it's not?
Not yet. We're still trying to figure that out.
Okay. All right. So, and you've got a competition coming up. It's in March. Is that the first competition?
Yes.
Okay.
It is at Barron Springs, March 14th through 16th.
Okay. So you won't be at the St. Joseph competition, but you'll be at the Berrien Springs competition. Yep. Okay. And then also, thank you for that, Levi. And Jason Kading is the lead mentor for Robotics. Good morning, and thanks you for joining us. Thanks for bringing these fine young men in.
No problem. It was a fun slippery ride.
Yeah, to give us a road update, if you would. Are there roads out there?
They weren't bad. There was only one car off the road, but
okay.
And he was quite a ways off the road.
Oh my goodness! Did you come up Red Arrow?
Yeah, I came up Red Arrow.
Okay. Well, so be careful out there because the roadways are still slippery. I noticed that there wasn't a lot of treatment going on, at least in my area.
That's pretty much what we've seen all the way up here.
Okay, maybe they're hoping it's going to melt, but I don't know if they've seen the temperature. It's not going too low. Jason, thank you very much for safely bringing these people in here this morning. But tell us a little bit about your role as the lead mentor for Robotics.
So my role is when Kyle approached us about starting the team, basically doing all the paperwork to get that happening, filling out grants, working with the school to get a location, which Kyle was the one that secured that for us, working with the principal at the school to get our parts ordered, whatnot, talking to a bunch of sponsors, trying to get our name out there so we can get, a nice robot for these kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. So basically Kyle needed somebody over 18 and you were it.
That was me.
Okay. I love that. What and I will ask for a list of sponsors at some point. So if you don't have that off the top of your head, I would recommend getting it ready.
We have it.
Oh, you have it. Okay. Who wants to tell us and thank the sponsors?
I can do that.
Okay.
So we have Lake Street Eats, Argosy, Tigmaster, the Swab Agency Farm Bureau, Hardings and Bridgman, Dominion Chevrolet, Transient Artesian Ales, Convergix, Artifacts, Getaway Cubby Bar and Grill, Wolverine, Van Seal, Towboat USA, Sign Division, and Landscape Rescue.
That's awesome. Well, thank you to all those great sponsors. Is it all in kind? Are there funding? I mean, I guess what I'm really asking is, do any of them help you put together the robot, or at least provide some of the parts?
Yes, Convergix has been very helpful on that. We have a couple mentors from Convergix. Levi's dad works at Wolverine. They've been doing some 3D printing for us as well.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, Jason, for that. And as in your role as lead mentor, in addition to doing the paperwork, do you help with them with the robot design at all? How much can a mentor do, and how much is the team responsible for?
My whole thought on this whole process was the kids should do it, and the mentors should help.
Yeah.
And if we see something they could do differently, we'll bring that up to them and walk through the scenarios and that. But it's really a kid-based driven team. And to me, that's the only way they're going to get full experience. Yeah,
I love that. So if they start putting a flamethrower on there, you are there to say, maybe not. Correct. This time. Okay, very good. It's not part of the challenge. Kyle and Levi, tell us where do you start? I mean, you have experience, Kyle, in other robotics teams, but where do you start when you see this Reefscape challenge? When you saw the challenge being displayed, What were your thoughts?
Well, my first thought was it's going to be a little difficult, but
Which parts?
placing and the end game, which is hanging off a metal cage kind of thing. That one is like 3 inches off the ground,
Yeah.
and the other is a bit higher. But
So basically, you've got to program the robot, or you have to command the robot to find a place where it's going to elevate itself. It's going to lift itself off the court floor
yeah,
and be suspended for how long?
it has to be suspended at least 3 seconds
Okay.
after your robot's been disabled.
Yeah. How so you're going from that angle, and then what do you do? How do you start putting this together? Because I'm just imagining that you have a blank slate of you can put together any robot you want within specifications. What do you do?
Well, we first read the manual,
Yeah.
and see what we can and can't do, and then based around the game and what we want to do, we design a robot and figure out what we can do and try and
Yeah.
get it all
How-
working.
How far along is the robot right now?
It's coming. We've made a bit of progress. Our chassis is done.
Okay. Has it moved yet?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Well, that's good. That sounds like a little bit more than the chassis. How is it powered?
12-volt battery.
Okay. All right. Levi, what are you thinking about the process? How's it going so far?
Pretty good. It's really nice. I never done this thing, but it's just really cool to see everything going together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have are you able to apply? The teachers are making me ask this question. Are you able to apply anything that you've learned in school outside of robotics in what you're doing now?
Not really.
No.
It's literally just learning. You're learning a new thing because
Okay.
they don't really teach you this at my level of school.
Talking about like coding and that kind of
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
I've been able to apply a lot of what I've learned because I'm in early middle college.
Okay.
So I'm taking classes at LMC, and I'm studying for pre-engineering. So I've been learning engineering design and electricity, and that's
Wow.
been a great help for the robotics team.
It's a good thing you're the captain. That's really cool. So you're a junior in high school right now, but you're taking classes at LMC in
Yeah.
engineering. That's pretty cool. That's very good. We're talking with Kyle Kading, Levi Thomas. They're the team captain and lead technician, respectively. Also with Jason Kading, he's the lead mentor for Beebotics. It's Bridgman's robotics team. We're going to continue this conversation right here on WSJM in just a couple of moments. Ask him some more questions about the robotics and how they're thinking about their competition that's coming up in Berrien Springs in mid-March. It's right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll be right back with more from Bloomberg, the Financial Minutes coming up, our ABC local and world national news. We'll get the latest local news from our WSJM newsroom and local sports. It's all coming up right here on WSJM.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's 7:46, and snow. It looks like it's tapered off in Benton Harbor right now for the moment. It's 26 degrees in Benton Harbor, 28 in St. Joseph, 24 in South Haven, snowing, and 21 degrees in Dowagiac right now. The feels like in Dowagiac, it's 21 degrees as well. But we as we mentioned in the weather forecast, it's just going to continue to get colder today. But heating up right now, it's Robotics Roundtable. It's brought to you by Lake Michigan College Cook Nuclear Power Plant. We're pleased to bring you some fine young individuals who are building a robot for the Bridgman competition. Is it the Bridgman High School? You'd say Beebotics.
Yeah.
And this is the only robotics team that they've ever had. You started the first one.
No, the only high school one.
The only high school one. Okay.
I have a FIRST Lego League, which is the elementary and early middle school one.
Okay. Did you help them start that as well?
No.
Okay. All right. Because Kyle's really been the brain trust behind this. And he's a veteran at the robotics competitions, but his father, Jason, is the lead mentor for Beebotics. But and then Levi Thomas is the lead technician for the team. So one of the things we were talking about again is let's make sure that we thank our sponsors. Before we do that, let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. Moody on the Market Update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And during our Moody on the Market Updates, we talk about three different things. We talk about business updates. We talk about life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and interesting people you should know. And I think we hit at least two of those three categories, maybe all three, by talking with you today. Primarily interesting people you should know. So thank you again for coming in, and thanks for putting yourself out there for FIRST Robotics. But let's talk a little bit about your sponsors. As you mentioned, it's what, $6,000 for the competition so far?
Yep.
And that's not even to mention if you go to nationals or world, right?
Right. And that doesn't even include what we have spent on the robot.
What you've spent on the robot already, which is, and how much does the robot weigh, by the way? Do we know yet? Do you have an estimate?
Max weight is 135, including bumpers. I believe last we weighed, it was like 70, 75.
Okay. So everything you put on it, all the functionality, everything else, it adds.
That it does.
Okay. All right. Who do you want to thank sponsor-wise for helping you get that money together and put that robot together?
We would like to thank Lake Street Eats, Argosy, Tigmaster, the Swab Agency, Hardings and Bridgman, Dominion Chevrolet, Transient Artesian Ales, Convergix, Artifacts, Getaway Cubby Bar and Grill, Wolverine, Van Seal, Towboat USA, Sign Division, and Landscape Rescue.
That's a great list of sponsors. And how did you get those sponsors?
Just by talking to people I know in the community.
Yeah.
The kids have been knocking on doors as well, sending out emails, just picking up the phone and calling. So that's what we've been doing. Hard
work, getting the word out. And you're still looking for additional, anyone who's interested in supporting, maybe you're from the Bridgman community and you want to support your FIRST Robotics team. How can they get in touch with you?
We have a Facebook and Instagram, and that's Beebotics. We also have a Gmail account, which is also Beebotics, and they can email or contact us on any of those. Okay,
great. What else? Anything else that you want to mention today? Thanks and appreciation.
Well, we'd really like to thank the Watervliet team, Beetronics, for their hand in helping start our team by putting us in contact with the people needed to actually make this a reality.
Yeah. Does that open a door for an alliance at a competition?
Well, that's a lot of that is people are picking based on what works well with their alliance.
So you want to see their robot before you decide?
Yes.
Okay. All right. For those of you who know the robotics, the alliance is apparently a really exciting period of time. Can you explain it just real quick? What is the alliance and in what part of the competition is that?
So after you do your qualification matches, they take the top 8 teams and they have them pick in order. So like Alliance 1, they can pick whichever alliance they want. And if they decline, they can't be picked again. So they pick an alliance of 3 and then they go off to playoff matches.
And the benefit of that alliance is maybe you partner up with a team that their robot does something well that maybe yours doesn't do. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. Well, we look forward to following Beebotics as you get ready for the March matches and everything else. When is your first match again? It's in Berrien Springs?
It's March 14th through 16th.
Okay. Yeah, in Berrien Springs.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Beebotics, if you want more information about them, you can check out their Facebook, their Instagram. They have an email contact information connected to those if you are potentially in or outside of the Bridgman area and you want to help sponsor them. We have a number of great teams in Southwest Michigan. We'll keep rotating them through here, bringing them on the air each week as part of Robotics Roundtable. Again, it's brought to you by Lake Michigan College and by Cook Nuclear Power Plant. So thank you very much, Jason.